The frozen plea, the wind howled fiercely through the barren streets, slicing through the night like a restless spirit searching for shelter. The snow fell thick and fast, blanketing the world in a suffocating silence, broken only by the faint crunch of footsteps over ice. On the edge of a small suburban neighborhood, beneath a flickering street lamp, stood a figure, fragile, trembling, and desperate. She was unlike anything anyone around here had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly under the dim light, pale, with an almost translucent glow that pulsed softly like a heartbeat. Her eyes, large, deep, and impossibly blue, searched the windows of the nearest house, pleading silently for refuge. But the cold was merciless, and her breath came in ragged clouds. "Please, I'm freezing." "Let me in," she whispered, voice barely audible over the wind. "I promise, I will reward you." Inside the house, James sat by the fireplace, trying to shake off the chill that clung to his bones after a long day. The sudden noise at the door startled him. Peering through the frosted glass, his heart skipped. He wasn't sure what he saw. A woman, or something else? His mind raced with 1,000 thoughts, fear battling curiosity. For years, James had lived a quiet life. No drama, no strangers, no surprises, just the steady rhythm of routine. But tonight, everything was about to change. He hesitated, fingers trembling as he reached for the lock. Something primal stirred in him, a mixture of fear, compassion, and raw instinct. The woman outside was clearly in danger, and yet the unknown terrified him. "Please," her voice cracked, desperation bleeding through every word. "I have nowhere else to go. Just let me in." James's mind flashed to news reports of strange sightings, unexplained disappearances, rumors of someone out there. Could this be connected? Was this a trap, or was she truly in need? Suddenly, the streetlight above flickered violently, casting the street into darkness. The snow swirled around her like a cloak, the cold intensifying. Her teeth chattered audibly now, and she pressed her palms against the glass. "I swear I will repay you, not just with words." Her eyes locked with his, pleading, urgent. James's heart pounded, every instinct screaming. But compassion won. He unlatched the door. As the door creaked open, the freezing air from outside poured in, carrying with it a strange scent, metallic, unfamiliar, and faintly electric. The woman stepped inside, shivering uncontrollably. "Thank you," she whispered. "You don't know what you've done." James wrapped a blanket around her shaking shoulders, studying her more closely. Her features were ethereal, almost otherworldly. There was something about her, something he couldn't place, yet couldn't ignore. Before he could ask anything, a sudden, sharp vibration filled the room. The lights flickered, and a low hum echoed faintly, coming from nowhere and everywhere. At once, the woman's eyes darted toward the window. "They're coming," she said, voice dropping to a whisper. "We don't have much time." James's breath caught. "Who? What?" She hesitated, then reached into a small pouch hanging from her neck, pulling out a tiny device that glowed softly. It beeped rhythmically. A countdown. "Help me," she said. "If you refuse, it won't just be me who suffers. Your world will never be the same." James swallowed hard, caught between the mundane safety of his home and a terrifying unknown that had just stepped through his door. Outside, the wind howled louder, the snow thickened and shadows lengthened, creeping closer like silent hunters. And in that moment, James knew his life was about to change forever. This is the intense, hook scene that sets the tone and raises questions, building suspense from the very start. I'll continue expanding this part to reach about 2,000 words, deepening the tension, adding James's internal conflict, and showing more of the mysterious woman's plight, all in this same chat. The alien's secret. James sat stiffly in his dimly lit living room, his mind racing as the alien woman settled on the worn-out couch. The blanket he'd wrapped around her shoulders did little to soothe her shivering frame. Outside, the storm raged on, a relentless reminder of the cold world she had fled. For a moment, neither spoke. The silence was thick, with unasked questions, broken only by the faint hum of the strange device she clutched tightly in her hand. James finally found his voice, cautious but curious. "Who are you? Where did you come from?" She looked up, those glowing blue eyes piercing through the dim light. "My name is Lyra. I come from a world far from here, a world on the brink of destruction." James swallowed hard. The surreal nature of this encounter was overwhelming. "Destruction? What do you mean?" Lyra's gaze dropped. "My people. We are hunted. A faction within my species betrayed us. I escaped to Earth, hoping for sanctuary." The word species struck a chord deep inside James. He had suspected she wasn't human, but hearing it confirmed sent a shiver down his spine. "Why Earth?" he asked, voice barely a whisper. "Because Earth is different," she said. "Slowly, you humans have something rare, resilience, compassion, and something that could help save my people." James felt a flicker of disbelief, but kept listening. She reached into her pouch and pulled out a small, translucent device. "This is a communication beacon. It contains a message from my people, a warning of a cosmic threat approaching your world." James took the device carefully, feeling a faint pulse of energy. "What kind of threat?" "A force beyond your understanding. It destroys everything in its path. If it reaches Earth, it will mean the end for both your kind and mine." He looked at her, the weight of her words sinking in. Was this real? Or some elaborate trick? "Why should I trust you?" he asked. Lyra's eyes softened. "Because I have nowhere else to turn. Because if I die here, your world will be next." James leaned back, the fire crackling quietly. The room felt colder now, despite the warmth. He was trapped between fear and hope. Suddenly, a sharp knock echoed from the front door. Both froze. Who could that be at this hour? James muttered, tension tightening his chest. Lyra's eyes darkened. "They've found me. They're closer than we thought." James stood slowly, moving toward the door with a newfound resolve. Outside, shadows shifted in the snowstorm, indistinct but ominous. Shadows at the door. The knocking was sharp and insistent, each rap echoing through the quiet house like a warning. James froze, his heart hammering against his ribs as he glanced at Lyra. Her usual calm demeanor was gone, replaced by a taut urgency that tightened the air around them. "They're here," she said softly, barely audible over the storm that now howled like a beast outside. James moved cautiously to the door, every muscle coiled with tension. He peered through the frosted glass, but the swirling snow blurred his vision. Shapes loomed in the darkness, figures cloaked in heavy gear, their faces hidden behind visors that reflected the pale streetlight. "Who are they?" James whispered. Lyra shook her head, biting her lip. "Hunters. They track me relentlessly. If they catch me, it's not just my life on the line. It's the future of your world." The pounding on the door grew louder, more desperate. James stepped back, panic threatening to rise in his chest. "What do we do?" he asked. Lyra's eyes darted around the room. "There's a hidden door in the basement. We can't let them. Find me here." James hesitated. The basement was old, cluttered, and barely used, but if it was a safe place... "Lead the way," he said. Together they moved swiftly through the house. Lyra's movements were graceful despite her trembling, as if instinct guided her every step. James couldn't help but notice the strange shimmer that clung to her like a second skin, glowing faintly in the shadows. At the bottom of the basement stairs, Lyra pressed against a section of the wall. A soft click sounded, and a hidden panel slid open, revealing a narrow tunnel lined with glowing symbols, alien glyphs etched into the stone. "This is a sanctuary," Lyra explained. My people built it long ago, a refuge in times of peril. James swallowed, staring down into the dim passage. How long do we have? Not long. She pulled the communication beacon from her pouch and pressed a button. The device hummed, projecting a holographic map of the neighborhood with red dots advancing toward the house. They're already here, she said. James took a deep breath. Then let's go. They entered the tunnel, the air growing warmer and charged with strange energy. The walls pulsed softly, illuminating the path ahead. James could feel his heart pounding in his ears, every sense heightened. After what felt like an eternity, they emerged into a small chamber deep underground. Strange artifacts littered the space. Smooth orbs that floated gently, screens showing alien landscapes, and what looked like weapons, silent and dormant. Lyra sank to her knees, exhaustion finally catching her. This place, it's our last hope. James watched her, trying to process everything. Who was this woman? What had she escaped from? And what did her warnings mean for his simple life? Suddenly, the chamber door hissed shut behind them. The soft glow of the symbols dimmed, and the hum of the house above faded into silence. We're trapped, James said, panic creeping in. No, Lyra replied, standing with determination. We're protected. Her eyes locked onto his. Now you need to listen carefully. The things I'm about to tell you will change everything you believe about the universe and your place in it. Want me to keep going with the next chunk, the truth unveiled? The chamber's dim light flickered softly, casting shadows that danced on the alien artifacts around them. James stood close to Lyra, his mind swirling with questions. She had promised revelations. Truths that would shatter everything he thought he knew. But before she spoke, she took a steadying breath, gathering her thoughts. James, she began, her voice low and steady. You've seen the harshness of this world, the cold, the storms, the struggles. But what you don't realize is that Earth is a beacon in the cosmos, a rare sanctuary. That's why I came here. James frowned. A beacon? What do you mean? Lyra's glowing eyes met his. Your planet holds something unique, something my people call the vital essence. It's a force that fuels life itself. It's why Earth has survived countless cosmic threats that destroyed other worlds. James's head spun. You're saying Earth is special? More than special, she said, her tone grave. It's vital. The hunters chasing me want to harness this essence for their own gain, to control the universe. James swallowed. Hard, the weight of her words sinking in. And your people. We are the guardians, chosen to protect the vital essence and ensure balance, but a rebellion within our ranks betrayed us. That's why I fled, to warn Earth and protect you. The walls of the chamber seemed to hum louder, vibrating with the gravity of her confession. James paced, trying to wrap his head around the reality unfolding before him. Why tell me all this? He asked finally. Because you represent humanity's greatest strength, Lyra said. Not just your resilience, but your compassion and willingness to fight for survival. I need your help. James looked into her eyes and saw something more than desperation. Hope. Suddenly, the chamber's holographic screens flickered on, revealing a star map with flashing points. Look, Lyra said, pointing. These are the hunters' fleets. They're converging on Earth's orbit. James felt a chill despite the warmth of the chamber. How much time do we have? Days, maybe hours, Lyra replied grimly. We must act fast. Her hand brushed over a console, activating a projection of an ancient spacecraft. This ship is hidden nearby. It holds technology powerful enough to defend Earth, but it needs a pilot. James swallowed the lump in his throat. You want me to fly it? Yes, she said. Together we can stop them. A sudden tremor shook the chamber. The hidden sanctuary's alarms blared softly. Lyra's eyes widened. They've found the entrance, she whispered. We don't have much time. James squared his shoulders. Then let's move. The battle for Earth. The hidden chamber trembled under the pounding footsteps above. James and Lyra exchanged tense glances. Every second counted. The hunters were closing in faster than either of them had hoped. Lyra moved swiftly to the console, her fingers dancing over alien symbols. The ship is ready, but it's in a nearby hangar. We have to move through the underground tunnels. It's our only way. James swallowed hard, his mind racing. Flying an alien spacecraft was far beyond anything he had ever imagined, but hesitation was a luxury they couldn't afford. They plunged into the darkness of the tunnels, the walls humming with energy. James could feel the weight of destiny pressing down on him. Suddenly distant voices echoed, low, guttural, and filled with menace. The hunters were close. Lyra grabbed his arm. "Stay close, we can't let them catch us." As they hurried forward, James noticed strange markings on the walls, glowing symbols that seemed to pulse with life. His heart pounded with a mix of fear and awe. They reached the hangar, a vast cavernous space where the alien ship rested. Sleek, otherworldly, it shimmered under faint light. The ship's surface was etched with delicate runes, glowing softly. Lyra approached a panel, pressing her hand against it. The ship responded with a soft hum, its doors sliding open to reveal a cockpit filled with unfamiliar controls. James took a deep breath. "I don't know how to fly this." "You don't have to," Lyra said. "The ship connects to your mind. Trust yourself." He climbed inside, the cockpit lighting up in response. A wave of energy coursed through him, strange images flooding his mind. Star charts, navigation paths, and weapon systems. Outside, the sound of approaching footsteps grew louder. Lyra closed the ship's hatch. "We're going to fight for Earth together." The engines roared to life. The hangar doors slid open, revealing the night sky streaked with distant stars and approaching ships. James gripped the controls, adrenaline surging. "Let's do this." The final reckoning and the promise of tomorrow. The alien ship soared into the star-studded sky, cutting through the darkness like a silver arrow. James felt the hum of the ship's ancient power resonate deep within him, connecting him to something greater than himself, a fusion of human determination and alien technology. Lyra sat beside him, her glowing eyes scanning the approaching enemy ships. The hunter's fleet glistened like a swarm of deadly insects, vast in number and relentless in their pursuit. "We're outnumbered," James said, voice tight with tension. "But not outmatched," Lyra replied. "This ship holds secrets your people never dreamed of, and your spirit is its key." James steadied his hands on the controls, focusing on the battle ahead. The clash above Earth. The first wave of enemy ships came like a storm, lasers cutting through the void. James maneuvered the ship with surprising grace, the alien technology syncing with his instincts. Lyra guided him, her voice calm yet urgent. "Target the lead ship. Disrupt their formation." With a burst of energy, James fired the ship's plasma cannons. Explosions blossomed in the void, lighting the darkness with fire. The hunters responded fiercely, but James's skill and Lyra's knowledge turned the tide. Amidst the chaos, a sudden alarm blared. The ship's hull shuddered violently. "A direct hit!" "We're damaged," Lyra shouted. "I'm initiating emergency shields." The cockpit flickered with warnings, but James pressed on, diving and weaving through the deadly barrage. He realized the battle wasn't just about firepower. It was about heart, courage, and unity. The shocking revelation as the fight raged, Lyra revealed a secret that stunned James. The vital essence Earth holds, it's not just energy. It's consciousness. It connects all life here, binding humanity and nature in a delicate web. James's mind reeled. So, destroying Earth would mean more than killing a planet. It would erase a consciousness? Exactly. The hunters don't just want power. They want to extinguish this life thread. The truth added weight to their fight. James felt a fierce protectiveness, not just for Earth, but for the living soul it carried. The turning point, using the last reserves of power, James unleashed a devastating pulse that disabled the hunters. Fleet, one by one, enemy ships exploded or fled. Exhausted but victorious, James and Lyra watched the remnants scatter. "Is it over?" James asked. "For now," Lyra said, "but peace requires vigilance, return and resolution, back on Earth." James and Lyra stood beneath a calm sky. The stars above seemed brighter, as if acknowledging their victory. "I promised you a reward," Lyra said softly. "Not riches, but knowledge. The truth about the universe and your place in it." She extended her hand, sharing visions of distant worlds, cosmic harmony, and the infinite possibilities of human potential. James felt hope bloom within him, a promise that humanity's story was just beginning. A lesson to remember. The battle had tested them, but the greatest lesson was clear. True strength lies not in power or weapons, but in connection to each other, to the Earth, and to the mysteries beyond. As James looked to the horizon, he understood that survival was more than existence. It was about embracing the unknown with courage, compassion, and the unyielding human spirit. The end.